I have a dream that one day pit bull terriers will not be judged by the name of its breed, but by the content of their character. Pit bulls are beauty without vanity, strength without insolence, courage without ferocity, and all the virtues of man without his vices. Pit bulls are portrayed as a dangerous animal, but in all my experiences, they have been the most loyal, protective, loving dogs that I've ever come in contact with. People say that pit bulls have locking jaws. That is not true. If you look at the skull of a pit bull and you look at the skull of a chihuahua, their bone structure is basically the same. You're going to come across what looks like the same thing, just a different size. Um, they don't have any kind of locking mechanism that would make them actually lock their jaws. They're a little bit stubborn, so sometimes they don't really want to let go, but they don't have a mechanism that stops them from letting go. People also say that pit bulls are vicious. A lot of this is based on a few bite cases. The media has a lot to do with this. They will do a breaking news segment on a pit bull biting a person. You don't see that with a Chihuahua or a German Shepherd or Rottweiler, any other breed. They are biased against pit bulls. This is where I get the most passionate. I currently have two pit bulls, Annika and Buddy. Annika I adopted at 4 months old from the Deer Park Animal Shelter. She has been the best animal I've ever had. Of all the animals that I've had, of all the dogs I've had, she is the most loving, caring dog I've ever come across. I have a 13-year-old, a 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old, and they were basically raised with her. She would do anything in her power to protect them. We had a puppy once that was a mixed breed of some sort, and they tried to snap at my youngest son, and she knocked the puppy off the couch and stood over the top of it to make sure that it wasn't going to do anything else before I could get to them. Another time, me and her were on the couch, and I was almost asleep, and she was laying down by my feet, and we heard a loud crashing sound come from my bedroom, and I thought, okay, well, maybe somebody's breaking in, broke a window. It ended up being a shelf that came down and broke the glass that was on it, but she jumped straight up from my feet over my head with all four paws right next to my head and stood over me, growling, ready to protect my life, even if she had to give hers. They are the most loyal, loving pets I've ever come across. It's also said that the pit bull dog is aggressive. If they are dog aggressive, they'll also be people aggressive. This is not true. These things are two different traits in general. There have been numerous pit bulls that were taught to be fighting dogs and still were able to live out their life in homes. An example is Michael Vick's fighting dogs. They fought them with all kinds of dogs, and most of them couldn't be around other dogs for the rest of their life. Some could at some point, but they were not people aggressive. They did not bite their new owners. They lived out their lives in a home with adults and children, and there was never any issue with them. I had Buddy. I got him off of Craigslist. I saw him on there for free. That's when normally these people will come in and say, "Oh, there's a free pit bull," and he was a big, big dog. So they're like, well, he's free. We can do what we want, and we don't have to pay anything for him. He could be a bait dog, a fighting dog. So I got him before anybody else could, and he was actually a little bit aggressive when I first got him. He snapped at me. He didn't snap at me. He was just snapping at the leash. He was scared. He pottied all over himself 1,000 times. And he was just scared to death. He was not a vicious dog. I've had that dog for 5 years now. He's never bit anybody. He's never hurt anybody, not any other animal, not any other person. He was just scared to death. It had nothing to do with him being a pit bull. It's a dog that had been mistreated so bad. He was actually found tied up on to a street sign with an embedded collar so bad that he still has patches of hair missing 5 years later. One question that people ask a lot with pit bulls in particular are, should you get one as a puppy, or should you wait and get one as an adult? Pet Finder actually suggests, and Villalobos, I did some of the research there. It doesn't matter either way, but fully grown, they actually say that you should wait until they're fully grown. You will not know the actual personality of the dog until they're fully grown. Puppies are puppies. When they grow up, that's when you find out what they're really made of. I've had all kinds of breeds, all kinds of dogs, all kinds of ages. Me personally, I don't care. I would rather get a puppy just so you can train them the way you need to train them. That's really the only reason. In conclusion, I believe that pit bulls are the very best breed of dog that are out there. They are definitely not born mean or run around biting people just because. Any dog is capable of biting. I have been bit by dogs and never a pit bull. They are very protective. They are very loyal, and they are the most loving breed of dog I've ever come across. If you are looking into adopting or getting a puppy or a dog of any kind, of any breed, you need to do your research. This is where a lot of the problems come from. People don't research and they say, oh, well, this is a cute dog, let me get it. Well, this dog may be extremely hyper, may be a little temperamental to certain things, just as a breed in general. You have to do your research before you bring an animal into your home. You need to know what you're working with and what's going on. But that's in general. That's with any breed, anything, any kind of animal, cats, rabbits, snakes, whatever you're wanting to do. You need to do all the research and see how it can fit in with your family. That's when accidents happen, is when people don't do the research and they don't do their due diligence to figure out what would be best for their family. Thank you.